Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. We are back with another edition of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City review. If you were here with us last week, thank you for joining again. My name is Melanie Porter, and I'm on the web team, and my co-host.
Yep, that's me, David Wells. I'm also on the web team. They're keeping it real in Salt Lake City, sort of an online review to complement our other online review that we wrote about this week, season 1, episode 2 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Melanie, we have something special to announce.
Yes, we have another special guest. So if you were here last week, John Franke joined us. This week, we have the lovely
drum roll.
Yeah.
So if you were here last week, you remember Allison was making tons of comments, and we just thought it's time to get her on. We should just have her make some comments for all of you guys live. So thanks for joining us, Allison.
Yes. Thank you. I am so happy to be here. And so I did watch last week's episode, the recap that you had, and I had friends actually sending me the article that you guys had written, which I love. That, like, my friend from California was sending me what David Wells was saying about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Since you hadn't watched any, I'm also not an expert. So Melanie, I know that you binge watched a lot of shows over the last however many weeks. David, you're brand new to Real Housewives. I've seen like a few episodes here and there over the years, but I have never seen a season from start to finish. So I'm somewhere in the middle, but I think my perspective is unique in that, well, we all live here, obviously. People who are tuning in, if you live in Utah, then you have that unique perspective. But I don't know, I feel like I've got like friends of friends who like are appearing in the background of episodes. And so it's just like I'm friends on Instagram with a bunch of people who like had some inside scoop. So I just feel like it's so interesting seeing a series when you have like a few degrees of separation, right? In between, we've been to a lot of the places when they were talking about in the first episode, Harmon's, like we can relate to that. And so it's fun, like, seeing the inside perspective as a Utahn, and then also some of the drama that has ensued, like some of the backlash that I've seen from people in the blogging community. And so it's definitely, it's been fun to watch so far.
Great. Well, okay, so for all of our viewers, if you want to leave your opinion on what you thought of this week's episode so we can kind of get a gauge for what everybody thought. And David, let's start with you. If you want to just kind of give an overview of what you thought of last night's episode.
Okay, so like Allison mentioned, I am brand new to this franchise. I don't want to say series because this is a whole new city. So I've only ever seen 2 Real Housewives episodes, and it was Salt Lake City episode 1 and 2. And after watching episode 1, I didn't quite know what to expect because that was an action-packed, drama-filled episode. And this one was very mild in comparison. I was frankly kind of bored, like Melanie and I were talking about earlier, before the show started. So yeah, it's like, okay, I can't really say I'm a fan of this show yet, but there were some fun things to happen. It was really cool to see Mary and Jen finally get over their drama together. And it was fun to see like them going to Snowbird and skiing and snowboarding. Some of them were pretty good at it. Some of them were not. They were hanging out on the Bunny Hill, and those are my kind of people, the Bunny Hill kind of people.
Okay, hey, David, I have a question for you. Sorry, I think there's like a delay here, so sorry if I end up talking over you. So you are planning on watching the whole Salt Lake City franchise, yes? David?
Yes, that is the plan. That is the plan.
Okay, so I love that you're like a one-hit wonder, where it's like Salt Lake and nothing else. I really appreciate that perspective.
Yeah, staying in my own little Real Housewives bubble, I guess you could say. Like, yes, I've seen it, but as far as like any other cities around the country, I still have no idea.
Allison, do you want to kind of give your recap? I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but you can kind of talk about what you thought of this week's episode.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like I should make an admission ahead of what I'm about to say. I already cheated and I watched episode 3. It was
Wait,
on
what?
the
How did you do
Bravo
that?
stream this morning. Did you see it too, Melanie?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tonight and then write my review because next week is Thanksgiving, so we'll be a little busy.
You can watch episode 3 already? How is that possible?
It was on the Bravo app, and I don't know if there was a mistake or what, but I saw it on there, and I was like, hurry and watch this before they take it away, because staying up till 11 o'clock at night is tough, right? And then it ends at midnight, and then you like want to see what people are saying on Twitter. So apparently the ratings have been good though, which is fun. Somebody posted today saying, can you guys move it earlier because they're worried about low ratings and then not bringing back like a second season? But he said, do not worry about the ratings. They are killing it. So all things are good there. My recap for the second episode, I took notes so that I'm not giving any spoilers to the third episode. That's why I wanted to like preface and say I've already seen the third. But yeah, it was way less drama than the first episode. And I don't know if David can pull it up or not, if we can do like a screen share of the graph that I found on Instagram. But
yep.
For
Give
the
us
first
just a sec.
episode,
Do you want us to pull up the first the first episode graph right now?
Yeah, this is the first one. So this is season 1. I saw this on the Oh No Bravo Instagram account, where the obviously not a scientific graph, but they did a whole like likability versus how the episode went on, this whole graph. So I just thought it was really funny because Heather has like remained very likable the entire time. Jen, during the first episode, she went up, and then they had Mary kind of squiggly all over the place. Mary was a sleeper pick for me. I'm loving her so far. But during the second episode, I was kind of intrigued by the way that the people that I thought I was going to like the most, it kind of went the opposite, really. People that I didn't think that I was really going to relate to that much, I've ended up loving in the second episode. Whitney, I feel like was super likable during this episode, especially with her dad in recovery and how she spoke out about that, and her life experience of thinking that she had to live a life in this little cookie cutter form that she was set out to have. And I feel like that is something that a lot of people, regardless of what religion you are, can relate to. So I really liked Whitney during this episode. I was taking notes of like the different fights, because this is absolutely not my personality. I would never, I'm not a big drama person. I love watching other people's drama, but I just like the fight at Meredith's birthday party when they were talking about the hospital smell. I was just, first of all, surprised that the hospital smell thing went on as long as it did. And they started this episode with the hospital smell drama. That was pretty funny to me. Just that, like Heather said, why are we still talking about this? And then just like Whitney confronting Lisa, I thought that Lisa during this episode, she had a couple of comments that I'm already seeing are kind of like trending, you could say. The Chanel necklace comment, which was, just because I give you a Chanel necklace, if you choke on the Chanel necklace, it's not my fault. You know, I think that she has a lot of good one lines, like when she said at dinner, I don't care enough to judge you. Like, it's just like high drama stuff. But I feel like Lisa had a lot of really good one-liners in this episode. And then I think the other big thing that we learned, the big reveal, was Meredith and her husband when they were at dinner at Handle over in Park City, when he said, who knows that we're separated. Because I had read something that he, I think, had filed divorce papers in Chicago last August. So before all of this, like a year and a half ago, a little more than a year ago. And then obviously on social media, they're still together and celebrating like anniversaries and stuff. So that's kind of gives it away. But I thought that was like a big kind of bombshell that they dropped in this episode. And Mary's facial expression I am loving. I mean, her storyline is so unique and something that none of us can relate to, but it's fun to like hear about. And I think a little spoiler ahead to episode 3, you see a lot of Mary in episode 3. So if you're interested in hearing more about Mary and this crazy life that she has, episode 3, I think a lot of people will enjoy.
Great. Okay, let me see. We got a couple comments of people asking questions or something. Okay, yeah, so it's on Bravo. Episode 3 was on the Bravo app. We're not really sure why. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know if it's still there. It was there at like 1 or 2, but I don't know if it's still there.
I think
Maybe they decided to release
they were
early
planning on
next week
doing
or
some
Thanksgiving.
sort of they were planning on doing some sort of like Twitter release tonight of episode 3 that I think you could like live stream, and like they're gonna tweet about it, the cast. I think I thought I read that somewhere. But it somehow it was out and I saw it. I don't want to give away too many spoilers since we're talking about episode 2, but yeah, next week's Thanksgiving, so I would assume that's why they're doing some mini sort of releases.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe one small spoiler. Does it have actual Thanksgiving elements in it? Do they have
No, they didn't.
They didn't?
No, they
Okay.
didn't start filming until I think after Thanksgiving last year. Because remember in the Snowbird episode, she said that she wanted to stay on the bunny hill because Lisa was saying that she didn't want to get hurt before Sundance. So I think they went in January and did Snowbird. So it's not about Thanksgiving in the next episode.
I would
Okay.
Thanksgiving episode, so I'm kind of bummed about that. I love the Thanksgiving drama that's around the seasonal episodes. But so I thought that a whole lot of nothing happened in this episode. Lots of character development, which was missing from episode 1, so we did really need that, but not a lot of drama and fights. And I knew it was going to be a boring episode when they started the episode with the hospital drama from episode 1. I fast forwarded that because I was just like, okay, I thought it was boring. But I did really like the snowboarding and skiing part of the episode. I have been snowboarding one time. I went in Arizona at like the one resort they have, and I spent the whole time on the bunny hill. I was on my butt the whole time. I fell the entire time. It was not a fun experience. So I have a lot of respect for Heather and Meredith. Whitney. They were really good, but I related more to Jen and
yeah, they were
Mary for sure. But yeah, I thought it was interesting how Mary was like the mediator of the dinner fight that was going on, but she was like in the fight in the beginning. She has a lot of different characteristics of this show, and I think you can see how other people turn to her for advice and stuff like that, especially Whitney and some of the other girls. But one thing that is driving me crazy is the big puffy feather sleeves that people keep wearing. I do not understand why these ladies are wearing these.
Maybe they're warm. I don't know.
Where do you even get them? Like, I have never seen them in Utah before. They are.
Well, that's because they are way above our pay grade.
But I'm like,
maybe our elevation too.
Like, how do you eat?
Yeah, I think even if we wanted to wear those, we would not be able to afford it.
Yeah, I mean, when Meredith wore them in episode 1, I was like, okay, it's her birthday. I get it. You know, she wants a statement piece. But then Lisa's wearing this big coral puffy feather cape. And I was so confused. I was so confused. So yes, but if you remember from last week, there were 4 criteria that I judge a Real Housewives season by. One of them is a dinner fight, and we checked that one off the list. Unfortunately, it wasn't a food fight. I do like a good food fight on the Real Housewives, or sometimes they break their wine glass. That is always a situation. So this one was pretty mild, but I did like the dinner fight. I thought that was good. I'm trying to see if we have any comments from people.
I like Pat Miller's comment. I like to see the places that I recognize from our fair state, because every time that they do those bump shots of downtown, I'm like, I know that building, I know that building, I know that building. Or when they're out driving, I'm like, okay, what part of the valley are they in right now? And can I figure this out? And it's just, I think people that aren't living or are from Utah, they're watching this, and it's called Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So they probably just assume that everything that they're seeing is Salt Lake City, but really it's, you're seeing a lot of Park City shots, and then you're seeing downtown, obviously, but then like Whitney lives in Daybreak, and then Heather's in Holiday, and then Lisa's, I think, in Draper. So it's like you're seeing a wide, I mean, it takes you an hour to drive to all those different places. It's not all just, you know, you guys know.
Okay, and then this one's from Jessica, and I think Jessica was here with us last week too. But she says, I always watch these shows and wonder what these gals are really like, since this is really a fraction of their lives and edited for drama. I want to see more through the season about Heather, Whitney, and Jen's locally owned and run businesses. And I think we see more of that. That's kind of the teaser vibe I got, from, at least from Heather with like the baby shower. But
yeah, you see more of Heather in episode 3, and then you learn a lot more about Mary in episode 3. I have a hard time believing that any of them are that dramatic all the time in real life. I think that, I mean, it's a reality show, but there's no way that the fights are, you know, you don't bring all your friends into the back room at a party to be like, you said I smelled like a hospital, and she's like, I said it, I didn't say she. So it's just like, that's, I feel like it's put on for TV.
Totally. I mean, that's kind of what I think when I hear the word reality or the phrase reality show. I think, okay, it's not reality. It's totally staged, and you know, there's a lot of drama that they create for the camera, I think. I also wanted to just point out that Melanie and I have had almost the exact same experience with snowboarding. We've been once, and we were on our butts the whole time. Which brings me to something that I believe it was Heather said, if you live here and you don't ski, that's a major tragedy. She said something along those lines. And that's me. I don't know. Do you ski or snowboard, Allison?
So when I first moved here 8.5 years ago, Dan Evans on our morning show, he gave me some advice. So Melanie, you're new to town somewhat. I'll give you the same advice. Before my first winter, he said, find an activity in the snow that you love, because otherwise you're going to hate winter and dread every storm. Unless you have an activity that you like to do in the winter, because then you look forward to storms, because then you can get out and you can do those things. I do ski. I've never tried snowboarding. I hurt my tailbone once, so I doubt that I would ever try snowboarding. But I do a lot of hiking, and my dog loves the snow. And so I do, every time that I am forecasting a storm, I can look forward to that, because I'm like, oh, we'll be able to get out and go on this hike or go snowshoeing, or we can go skiing. And so I could see how for people who don't ski or snowboard, or do not necessarily just those two things, but if you want to do any outdoor activities in the winter, how winter would seem to go on forever here. So I would advise you to give something a shot outside. I don't know if there's any other outdoor activities that you like, but I think that yeah, it's, I hear all the time from people, or people who haven't visited all of our national parks. Can you comment on our Facebook page if you visit all the national parks? I'm always surprised at the amount of people who live here and haven't done all those things.
Yeah, I think that when I went snowboarding, I didn't go with like the right people. Like I went with a bunch of guys from college, and they all knew what they were doing, and they were like, you'll pick it up, you'll be fine. And then I got on the bunny hill. I was not fine. I was like just dying. And then they ended up continuing to snowboard, and I just like went in the lodge and ate pizza for like 2 hours, because I was just like, there's no point, like I'm gonna fall, like I don't want to. But I know that my city is doing like snowshoeing guided tours. I think that would be fun. So I might try that out. But I'm not used to snow. And that's one thing that I really don't really like about this season, is that all they show of Utah is like the snow, and that's it. And Utah is more than snow. And so I wish that they would show more than just like, we're walking in snow, we're driving in snow, we're snowboarding. I wish they'd show some other stuff.
Well, to be fair, if you guys are both interested in trying some more outdoor activities, and if you're interested in trying skiing or you're interested in trying snowboarding, I would not recommend snowboard for your first time, because that is probably one of our hardest resorts here in Utah. And so even, I know they call it the bunny slope in the episode, in the show, but their bunny slope is harder than most of the resorts on the East Coast. I mean, our bunny slopes here in Utah, especially in the Cottonwood Canyons, are so steep. There's nothing at snowboard really that's not steep. So I think that if you're going to give it a shot, once you get up to that experience level, but I mean, snowboard's so pretty, and they've got the pretty tram shots heading up, and they've got the great restaurants. So it was fun to see that.
Okay, so Pat wants to know, does anyone think the series will show the Sundance Film Festival? And I know Lisa kind of alluded to it, but I don't know.
It sounds like you guys have watched more than me.
I remember seeing it on Instagram. No. She alluded to it in this episode about how, and everyone said in the first episode, oh, you got to kiss Lisa Barlow's ring if you want to get into the Sundance parties. They've been talking about it. But I remember seeing on Instagram the fashion show that they did. And so I was sad we didn't see more of Brooks in this episode. I think that he is a standout character, Meredith's son Brooks. And he has a fashion show that was during Sundance that they all locked in. So there will be some sort of Sundance stuff. I don't know the extent of the parties. I've never experienced Sundance at that level. I've done like some things for Sundance, but I'm sure this is going to be an inside look at the Sundance that most of us do not experience.
I wanted to touch on one more thing that they talked about toward the end of the episode, and that was the thumbs up.
Oh.
The thumbs up emoji. So I've used the thumbs up emoji. I had never. Okay, so I'm not the only one then. I feel good about that. The thumbs up emoji I've used more times than I can count. Probably dozens of times already with Melanie, and probably a few times at least with you too, Allison. But apparently, some people think that means something really bad. Like I can't even say what it means, but it's basically like bleep you.
Yeah.
So Allison,
maybe
it sounds
like
it
will become a thing now.
Yeah, like I was really scared about using it today because we have a messaging system that we use at Fox 13, and we're always texting with each other with that. And I would definitely use at least 10 or 15 of those thumbs up a day usually.
Oh my gosh.
But now today I did not use any.
Do you think everyone thinks that you were doing that?
Oh no, not at all. And if anyone did think that, then they should know that was not what I intended. But like this episode today made me wonder, like, okay, is it just me, or is that weird that people think that a thumbs up emoji means bleep you?
I think that it was the context of the text. And when you see the text, like, it is a little weird. She's like, have you talked to Jen? That's not really how you open a conversation. It's like, hi, how are you doing? So she was definitely trying to like dig some info to see what she was dealing with before she got to the party. But I thought that whole conversation was so funny. I loved that.
I totally forgot about that. I'm curious now if that is going to be like an inside thing that people use.
It might take off that way. Like I said, I was pretty wary about using it today, just in case anyone misread that. But I was also kind of waiting for someone to send one to me, and I didn't think I even received any today. Just maybe one or two, but I know that isn't what they would have meant if they had sent that. But that was funny. That might become a thing. We'll have to watch for that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the whole loving kindness discussion. So Lisa and Heather got into it because of love and kindness, and how she uses her words and how she always wants to, portray love and kindness. And this was a hilarious conversation because Real Housewives, other franchises, this discussion of who has the most love and kindness has never come up. Like, everybody kind of just accepts that they just have their own lives and they're whatever to each other. But no. Real Housewives of Salt Lake, who has the most love and kindness. So I guess that's what I wanted my finishing final thought to be was, I hope you all have a wonderful week full of love and kindness. And if that's not Utah conversation argument that has ever happened on who has the most love and kindness, then I really don't know what it is.
Yeah, and make it genuine.
Episode, or was it the next one? Sorry, the delay is getting us again. Go ahead, David.
I was just saying, and make it genuine too. Like, if you, if you have something kind to say, make sure you actually do mean it, and then it will come across as genuine, which it is. I feel like there are times on the show when people say things, especially apologies, and they're just, you can see right through them. They're just saying it because they want to move on, because they don't want to deal with this particular conversation anymore. They just want to move past it. And that's what it felt like in episode 2 with Lisa. Her apology did not strike me as genuine at all. So love and kindness, if those are things that you want to put out there, make sure you actually do feel them internally.
And when you do the love and kindness, make sure that you're not following that up with a thumbs up.
True. Okay, well, I think we'll wrap it up. We've been on here for almost half an hour. The time goes by so fast when we're just talking about it. But thank you all for joining us again. Allison, thank you for coming on and being our special guest this week. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I do want to say one last quick thing. I felt like watching this episode, I know that there was some backlash after the first episode with the way that people that are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints were upset with the way that they felt they were portrayed in the first episode. I felt like this episode was less of an attack, I guess. I'll put that into quotes. I just felt like this was a much more low-key episode, and there wasn't really anything that stood out to me. Maybe it was because I was like multitasking while I was watching it. So it was kind of nice to see that it seemed like they kind of toned back on that in the second episode, which I know was a complaint that some people had from the first one.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like they did scale back, but I'm maybe not quite as sensitive to what may have been offensive. But yeah.
I feel like
love and kindness.
I feel like it was more like we're addressing it. We're addressing, that there's a high religion, lots of people are in the LDS religion in Utah, and now let's move on and let's talk about other stuff. And so I liked that too. But I think that religion will still be a big piece in the next coming episodes. So we'll see. But if you guys want to read our full review, it is up on our website with even more funny commentary. I think we're funny, but with even more funny commentary. And yes, we will see you guys next week for more Real Housewives.
All right. Thanks so much for having me on. Love and kindness.
Love and kindness.